welcome back to the Merck Method, where we explore mental wellness, growth, and the human experience. I want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast today. I appreciate all of you, and let's jump right into it. Today we're going to jump into something that's the most persuasive and dangerous liars we all live with, and that is fear. This was actually the topic of conversation at church today, so I thought I would actually kind of take that on and emphasize a little bit about why fear is a liar. We're going to talk a little bit about how it manipulates us, why we actually believe the lie, and how we can stop letting it control our lives because it's toxic. All right, let's start to get honest with ourselves a little bit early in the podcast. Question is, what does fear sound like to you in your head? What is keeping you back from doing something that you want to do or that you know that's the right thing to do? For me, an example would be you're not good enough. Maybe what if you fail? What about you're worrying about being judged? Or just the fact that it's telling you to don't even try. It's safer to stay where you're at now. Does any of this sound familiar to you? We all hear this. Sometimes fear wears that mask of logic, right? We think that it's the right answer. It pretends to protect us, but what it really does is keep us small. Now, there are certain levels of fear, right, where it's protecting us from if we're walking across the street and making us mindful of traffic, right? It can be a defense mechanism, of course. Fear isn't all bad. In fact, fear has a purpose. I mean, it's wired into our brains to keep us safe. It's why we don't touch a hot stove or walk close to the edge of the cliff. You get that feeling that, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, and then you back off. Fear at its core is a survival instinct. In its truly dangerous situations, it's essential. But here's the twist. Fear doesn't just show up when there's danger, it shows up when there's discomfort. It reacts not just to real threats, but to perceived ones. Fear shows up with that job interview you want to go to, that doubt before the breakup you know you need to have. You start questioning things, you start going from one side to the other. Before that leap of faith into something new, something that you wanted to do for so long, but fear keeps you back. Something that you've deep down known that it's the right thing to do and that will make you happy. However, you just can't pull that trigger. One of the biggest top things for fear, public speaking. Setting a boundary is a good one. How about that? You ever fear setting a boundary on what the other person's going to think? I'm sure most of us do that on a daily basis. Okay, here's the lie. Fear tells you that discomfort is danger, that failure is fatal, that judgment will destroy you. I'm always so worried about being judged for whatever reason. That fear is a liar, that you're not ready. It tells you you're not worthy or good enough. I struggle with the fact that I don't feel like I'm good enough at any given point in time. Why? What do I have to prove to anybody else but myself? That's where that fear is a liar. It extremely exaggerates that risk. It underestimates your strength. We're all strong. We all know it deep down. It whispers that worst case scenario and calls them facts. That is total BS. But we believe that. So yes, we do need fear. But we also need the wisdom to question it. To ask, is that fear something is safe? Or is it keeping me stuck in the situation that I don't need to be in or shouldn't be in? Urge isn't about never feeling fear. It's about knowing when fear is telling the truth and when it's just trying to stop you from growing. We're all trying to grow into the person that we are supposed to be. Fear is trying to handcuff us to get there. Again, that fear feels real, right? It feels like it knows what it's talking about. It's a survival mechanism. Our brains are trained to avoid that danger. But we're not running from tigers, we're running from judgment. We're running from that failure to move on, failure to try something new, that heartbreak, or the unknown. How many times do you fear that if you take this leap, you don't know what's going to happen? Fear kicks in and keeps you where you're at. But that doesn't mean that's where you're supposed to be. Here's the honest truth about all of this that I've learned. Most of what you're afraid of isn't going to happen. And most of what fear predicts never will. It's just holding us back. We have to stop giving fear control of what we're meant to do. Fear is definitely expensive. Let me tell you why. Because it costs you a lot of opportunities that you could have had in the past. It's costing you your joy. It's costing growth. You're not getting anywhere with this fear. Can't grow, can't get into a relationship, can't get out of a relationship that you're not supposed to be in. The biggest thing, it's peace of mind. It's costing you that peace of mind. Every time you listen to fear, you invest in your limitations. You're cutting yourself off. Fear robs you of that future that you want. You know you want it. It sells back to you in the form of what ifs. What if I could do this? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? It also brings anxiety because you don't know what you're worried about. Once you understand and you are aware of this situation and that fear, you stop feeding it. Well, we named some of the biggest fears. I know I can name some of them, and I'm sure that they resonate with all of you. You're not ready. You'll never feel 100% ready. That growth requires discomfort. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone in order to grow. What if I fail? How many times have you said that to yourself? What if I just don't make it? That failure is feedback. It's a teacher, not a death sentence. This one resonates with me all the time. People will judge you. Of course they will. People will judge you no matter what you do. You can't stop what people are thinking. Do it anyway. Stay safe. Safe is often code for stuck. You want to be stuck somewhere? Does being stuck in quicksand sound fun? Not to me. The problem that it is fear sounds rational. So how do you know if your fear is lying to you? Well, ask yourself, is this voice pushing me toward my potential, where you want to go, right? Or is it pulling me away from it? Is it handcuffing me to where I'm at? Or is it catapulting me forward? This is how you start breaking that cycle. Get curious. Ask what's really going on here? What's going on in my head? You got to take those small risks. Your confidence will grow through this action, but not while you're overthinking about it. And I know that's easier said than done because there's so many of us that are overthinkers. I'm one of those people. I'm working on it. But you got to challenge that voice. You got to talk back to it literally. Make a list of times you did something scared and it worked out. So I talk about this all the time. I guarantee you can remember a point in your life where you went, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I'm going to make through this. And then you did it anyway, and it worked out. That was that fear trying to give you a lie that you were safer where you were, but then you overcame that fear and you made it. You are so much stronger than you think. And that fear wants to break that strength. Fear doesn't want you to know that you are capable. Fear doesn't want to know that you are resourceful. You are so powerful beyond your comfort zone. And most importantly, you are not alone. Millions of people are feeling fear every day and still walk around anyways. That fear's still going to talk to you. We still need it, remember, to a certain extent. But you don't have to listen to the bad lies that it gives you. You can feel the fear and choose differently. Fear may speak loudly, but you decide who holds the mic. You are in control. Fighting fear isn't about never feeling it. It's about learning how to face it and move forward. Let's talk about some strategies to fight this fear, this liar that's in our heads. How about we name it? When you feel that fear rising, ask, what exactly am I afraid of? Ask the question. Naming it takes away its mystery and helps you get specific. Challenge that fear. Is this true? What's the worst that could really happen? What evidence do I have that this is a bad move? Always take small steps, take small actions. Fear shrinks when you move. You don't have to leap, you just take a step. It's not a race. Visualize your success. Materialize what you want. Put it in the atmosphere. Fear shows you what could go wrong. You have to actively imagine what could go right. Speak the truth out loud. Whether it's affirmations, scripture, personal mantras, use your voice. Tell yourself. Tell yourself you're capable. I've done hard things before. This fear does not define me. You are the biggest listener of yourself. I always tell everybody to be easy with themselves when they talk to your mind. You hear everything that you say to yourself. You hear everything that you say, period. If you're talking to yourself and it's hugely negative, what do you expect's going to happen? What happens if you talk positive to yourself? Amazing things can happen because you're amazing individuals with so much potential and so much purpose, and you're letting fear tell you otherwise. I let that fear move into my brain when I was working for 22 years at a company that I thought I was going to retire at. I took that leap. I let myself understand that I was good enough to take on this new journey. Fear was winning for a long time. I believed those lies. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. No one's going to listen to what I say. I got over this fear by doing this podcast as well. I didn't think anybody was going to listen. That's not true. I thought some people would listen, but I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And I tell you what, it has been an amazing ride so far, and I'm just starting. But that fear was telling me that I wasn't good enough to do this. You have to be kind to your mind. That's the Merck method. I talked about previously that I had that job for 22 years, and that fear kept me in that position because it to me was going well for a while, but that was not what I was supposed to do. And obviously that is true, but fear was the one that was keeping me there. And I fought through that. But there is one time specifically that I can remember that I kicked myself in the butt that fear won. When I graduated with my psych degree, I actually was chosen to speak at graduation. And I weighed the options, and I wanted to speak so bad. I wanted to write my speech down, my motivation, my growth on how I got from one place to the next, and I let fear beat me. And I will never get that part back. Now, granted, when I start working on my doctorate, if I have the opportunity to speak at my graduation, you can bet all the money in the world that I'm going to take that opportunity to speak because I have earned it. And fear beat me once, but it's not going to beat me again like that. And it shouldn't do that for you either. The world needs to see the true you. Don't let the fear of being uncomfortable stop you from showing your true colors and your purpose. Fear wants everybody to be comfortable in this little room together instead of allowing people to grow. Because, everybody says misery likes misery. Fear likes fear. Don't stay in that room. Walk right out that door and show the world what you got. So as I close this podcast episode for today, I just want to close with this. Fear is always going to show up. It'll whisper doubts, scream worst case scenarios and try to convince you to shrink. But here's that truth. Fear doesn't get the final say. You do. Every time you speak up, take a step, or try again, you're reminding fear you do not control me. So whatever you're facing right now, I know it's a lot of weight on your shoulders. Know this, you are not alone. Remember, you are not powerless. And you are not defined by your fear. Let fear talk if it wants to, because it's gonna. But don't let it decide your next move. You are stronger than that lie. You are braver than the voice in your head. And every day you have the power to choose that courage to step forward. I just want to thank everybody for joining me today. If this podcast helps you, send it to someone who needs a little courage too. So like each day I leave you with this. Stay grounded. Stay kind to yourself. And remember, strength begins with honesty. Till next time.